Okay, so what I have said that in unit number 5, we have to study the routing protocols, the distance vector routing, link state routing, then the different protocols like RIP, EIGRP, OSPF. These protocols we have to study in unit number 5. So first we will start with understanding the basics about the routing with delivery and forwarding. So what is meant by delivery? The network layer supervises the handling of the packet by the underlying physical network. We define this handling as the delivery of the packet. So sending a data from one node to the source to the destination. Consider this as a destination. So if data is sent from source to the destination, then this is called as the delivery of data. Delivery of data, or in network layer, we call it as a packet. Delivery of a packet. So we define this handling as the delivery of the packet. So the process by which data from a source is successfully sent to a destination is called as the delivery of a packet. So there are two kinds of the deliveries. One is direct delivery, another is indirect delivery. So understand what is direct delivery. So if the data is going from that means a source and destination, if both are in the same network, then it is called as a direct delivery. Then it is called as a direct delivery because this host and this host are present or connected to a same network. And if they are in the same network, then they don't require or data doesn't require to go through this router. Rather, this data will be sent to a switch. So switch is connected to switch. All these machines are connected, and switch will directly send this data to a destination machine instead of sending it to a router because both source and destination are in the same network. So this kind of the delivery is called as the direct delivery. Similarly, this router is also connected to a same network. So this interface of the router is in the same network. So that's why this sending of the router to a host is also a direct delivery. So direct delivery means if a data is sent from one host in the network to the other host in the same network is called as the direct delivery. Now next is the indirect delivery. So now you see a source is here and destination is here. Source position is here and destination position is here. That means the source is in this network. Let us name this as network 1, and destination is present in network 2. Okay, that means they are in the different networks. Okay, so the data that is sent from this host to the router, data that is sent from this host to the router is called as the indirect delivery. It's called as the indirect delivery. So that means a source is first sending a data to a router, and then router is delivering data to a destination. So this particular sending of data, indirect data, that means actual destination is this, but this host is sending a data through this router. So this sending of data is called as the indirect delivery. So forwarding means to place the packet in its route to its destination. So for next we will understand the forwarding. So delivery, we have said that from source to a destination is called as the delivery. So this data that is sent from source to destination is called as the delivery. But this data takes different routes to receive to the destination. So whatever is data that is sent here is called as the forwarding. So if data is taking intermediate routes to reach to the destination, then it is called as the forwarding. Forwarding means to place the packet in its route to the destination. Okay, so let us name this host as A and router as R1, R2, R3, and this host as B. So routing path for data is from A to R1, from R1 to R2, from R2 to R3, and then from R3 to it will reach to a B. So forwarding requires a host or router to have a routing table. So this kind of the routing paths are maintained inside the routers or inside the host and the destination. So the way by which the destination can be reached, or the path through which a destination can be reached, is stored into some table. That table is called as the routing table. So what is routing table? Routing table contains the path. What does the routing table contains? It contains the path to reach to the destination. When a host has a packet to send or when a router has received a packet to be forwarded, it looks at its table. It looks at its table. So what R1 A will look, so A will look, this is the routing path. So A will send this packet to R1. Then R1 again will check a routing path. So routing path is through R2. So R1 will send it to R2. Then R2 will again check a routing table and will send it to R3. R3 will check a routing table and will send it to a B. So in this way, data gets delivered, data reaches to the final destination. So this particular process is called as the forwarding. That means sending an indirect data is called as the forwarding method. Okay, now how the routing table looks like. Okay, so let us understand this. So this is a network. Let us name this as network 1, network 2, and network 3. These three networks are connected with the help of router 1 and router 2. Network 1 have host A and network 2 have, network 3 have host B. So how the routing tables will be maintained? So this is a routing table for host A. This is the routing table for host B, host A. So it will keep the two entries. One is destination and the route. Actually, there are more columns in the routing table, but we will understand it step by step. So now routing table is showing two entries. One is destination, another is a route. So destination, that host A wants to send a data to host B. And how this host B can be reached? It can be reached through R1, then R2, and this host B. So this is a routing path to reach to the host B. Similarly, what R1 will keep? R1 will also keep a data routing table with itself. So what is the routing table for R1? Destination is cell, and for R1, that data will go through R2, then B. So R2 and then host B. Then this R2 will also keep a table. So host B and destination is host B, and this is directly connected to R2 in the same network. So here it is host B. So routing tables based on the next hop. So sometimes instead of keeping this lengthier information, R1, R2, host B, this information is minimized. That means destination is now set, but this host A will only keep information of the next node, not a complete path. So here it has saved this as R1 only. So whenever it wants to send a data to host B, it will simply send it to R1 without caring of how it will travel from R1, then R2 or host B. So only the next hop is saved here. So host A will send it to R1, host B will send it to, R1 will send it to R2, and R2 will directly send it to host B. There is no next hop here. Next hop means next router that is required to send a data to. So here the destination for R2, destination is in the same network. So it is not sending it to any other host. So it is in the same network. So here they have shown a dash here. So destination is in the same network. So it will get delivered directly. Okay, so like this, the routing tables are maintained. So routing table for host, yes, based on the host specific method. Okay, so let us understand this routing table. So this is host specific method. That means for each host in network 2 A, B, C, D, the routing table is created. So if the routing table is created for host based method or based on the host, so this network 2 may have the thousands of pieces, connected in their network. So if there are 1,000 pieces, then this size of the table will become equals to 1,000 entries. The size of the table will become equals to 1,000 entry, because this table is keeping the information of how to reach to A. So A, it is reaching through R1, B, it is reaching through R1, C, it is reaching through R1, D, it is reaching through R1, and same for remaining 1,000 computers. That entries will be kept if network 2 is containing 1,000 entries. So to overcome this disadvantage of the larger size of the routing table, this is minimized. How it is minimized? So instead of keeping a host-based method, the next method is used is a network-specific method. So instead of keeping the every host address in a routing table, what is kept? This network's address is kept. So instead of keeping all the addresses, so destination N2 and R1. So whenever it wants to send a data to C, it will check in which network it is. So it is in N2, so it will pass it to R1. Then again a D, it will check the network address. It is N2, will send to R1. So this is a network specific method. Disadvantage of host specific method is larger routing table size or lengthier routing table, but here the size of the routing table is minimized by keeping only a network address. So if size lesser, then searching will be faster inside the table, and it doesn't require to keep the many entries in the routing table. Okay, so this is the advantage of network specific method. Then one more is a default method. Okay, now default method means, for example, say if this rest of the network is connected to say network 3, network 4, network 5, network 6, like this, it is connected to hundreds of networks. Okay, so if the default method is used, then what will happen? So observe this entry here, any other. So for connecting all these networks, it needs to send a data to R2. Connecting all these networks, it needs to send a data through R2 because this R2 is connected to all these networks. So that's why instead of keeping N3, N4, N5, N6 up to N100, what is done? This default is used. So default means for connecting to N2, send a data to R1, and for all other packets, send it to R2. So these entries are not required. It will be directly sent it to R2 because this router is connected to the internet. It is connected to the internet. So whatever the data that will pass to the internet will go through this router. So this entry is kept as any other or R2 or network specific address written as 0.0.0.0 means a default entry that will take the packet. So if the packet is traveling other than N2, it will go to this router 2. And if it is for N2, it will go through this router 2. So simplified forward model in classless addressing. So in classless addressing, instead of 2 columns, it requires some additional columns. So what are the additional columns those are required? So it requires a mask. So mask is very important in a classless addressing. We have seen that the address is somewhat written as 192.168.17.35.28. So this is called as the mask in classless addressing. This notation is called as the CIDR notation, classless intra-domain routing notation. So the first entry in the routing table is mask. Next is network address. Next is next hop address and the name of the interface. Next hop address and name of the interface. So this is the additional entry that is added in the routing table. So how the forwarding takes place? So it will extract a destination address. The destination address will be extracted, and then it will search a table. It will search this table. So it will mask this destination address with subnet mask or the mask, and then we'll find the network address. We'll compare whether network address is matching or not. If matching, then it will select this particular path. If not matching, it will go to the. It will check for the next path and so on. Okay, so this we will understand with the help of one example. In classless addressing, we need at least 4 columns in a routing table. So make a routing table for R1 using the configuration in figure. This figure. So we have to make a routing table for this figure. So routing table contains 4 entries. Which entries? Mask, network address, next hop, and interface. So the entries require are mask, network address, next hop, and interface. These entries are required. Okay, now you have to create a routing table for each of the routers. So what they have asked us to create a routing table for router R1. So we'll create a routing table for R1. So if you observe here, R1 is connected to this network with this address. So network address is 201.4.22.0. So write this network address as the first entry in the routing table. Okay. So this is having a mask of 24. This is having a mask of 26. This is having a mask of 26. This is having a mask of 22, and this is having a mask of 25. Now remember, while creating a routing table, make an entry of that network which has the highest mask. Highest mask means highest number of ones, highest number of bits in network part. So this particular network have 26 ones in its network part. So that's why this entry will be made first, then this. Okay, so let us understand how this routing table is created. So first network 180.70.65.192, which is having a mask of 26, So this network is added first. It has the mask of 26. So this address, you don't have to add this host address. You have to add this network address. So 180.70.65.192. 180.70.65.192, which has the mask as 26, and next hop made as a dash. Why next hop is made as a dash? Because to reach to this network, this network is directly connected. It doesn't require any router in between. So it has given the next hop as dash. And the interface through which the packet should travel. So this network is connected with this interface. So name of this interface is M2. So M2 is written there. The next entry you have to make the rest of the internet. So rest of the internet, that entry is made here. So mask is any, network address is any, and next hop is 180.70.65.200, and interface is M2. So we have studied how these two entries are added. So this is the first entry. Default is always added the last. So this is the last entry. The next nearest mask after 26 is 25. So this will be added. So for adding this address will be added in the network 180.70.65.128. 180.70.65.128. Mask is 25. It is directly connected, and the interface is M0. So through this interface, the packet should go. Then after 25, there is a 24. So this address will be added. Mask is 24, and interface will be, so M0, M1, M2. Does it have given name of the interface here? The name of the interface is missing here, so we will name this interface as M3. Okay, so 201.4.22.0. So it is going through M3, and remaining entries added like this. So this is the routing table for R1. So pay attention here. What does the routing table contains? So routing table contains the routing information. That is how a packet will travel to the different networks. And the entries in the routing table are the mask, then network address, then next hop. Next hop means if there is an intermediate router required. In between, then the next hop is written. For example, this default network is requiring one more router to reach to the internet. So this is one router, and it is requiring this one more router to reach to the internet. So that's why this will become next hop for the rest of the internet. And then the interface name. So router have many interfaces like M0, M1, M2, M3. So through which interface it should go, the packet should go. So that name of the interface is written. I hope this is clear to you, the routing information and routing table. Okay, now some examples we will understand based on the routing. The first example is show the forwarding process if a packet arrives at R1 with a destination as this. with a destination as this 180.70.65.140. 180, 70, 65, 140. The destination is 180, 70, 65.140. 65.140. Okay, now what will happen? How this packet will be forwarded? That we have to demonstrate. So IP address is this. So it will fall in one of these networks. So how to find a network address of this? So first, yeah, this is IP address. IP, some destination in some network. So you have to first find the network address of this. So for finding the network address, this IP will be ANDed with this mask first. Will be ANDed with this mask first. And what is this mask? Let me write IP again 180.170.65.140. So 140 I will write in binary notations. Let me write this as 128 plus remaining is 12. So 0, 64 is 0, 32 is 0, 16 is 0, 8 will be, sorry, 8 will be 1. 8 will be 1, 4 will be 1, and 0, 0. So if you add this 1, 2, 4, 8, 12 plus 128. So it is 140. So I have written this in the binary notation. Now what is a mask? Mask is 26. 26 ones. So how you write 26 ones? So this first 8 ones are written as 255. Next 8 ones are written as 255. Next 8 ones are written as 255. Then remaining, how many are remaining now? 8 plus 8 plus 8. 24 we have written. So remaining are 2. So 2 you can write this as this. So if you add this, you will get anything ended with 255 gives you the same number. So 180, 170, 65, and this bit will be 1. First bit will be 1. So address will be 128. Address will be 128. Okay, that means this mask is not calculating this network address. The mask is not calculating this network address. That means this entry is not valid for this address. For this address, we are getting the network address as 128, but network address is 192. So this entry is not valid. So it will go to the next entry. Now, what is the next entry? Only one change. Instead of 26 ones, we have one lesser one. So that means 25 ones. So we will remove this one here and we will write it as a 0. So what will be the result of this ANDing? Again, 1 will be 1 and others will be 0. That means it will be 128. Again, it will be 128. Now this entry will match. Then R1 will forward this packet to this network through interface M0. Through a interface M0. So have you got how this routing table actually works? So whenever it gets a packet with a destination IP address, so it will first start masking from the first address. So it will mask this, will calculate the network address. If it is matching, then it will send the data. If it is not matching, then it will go to the next entry in the routing table. So again, we will mask it with the network subnet mask. The IP address will be masked with a subnet mask to calculate the network address. And if a network address is matching, then it will forward that packet through this interface to this network. Okay, so address was 140 of the PC, but it have correctly calculated that this falls in this network. So it will forward this to this network, and this network then will decide the destination and will correctly deliver the data. So that's why this in network layer is called as the end-to-end delivery from one host to the another. So the same process is written here. The first mask 26 is applied to a destination address. The result is this that we have calculated. So how we have calculated? By ANDing operation. This IP is masked with subnet mask to calculate the network address. So this address does not match for the first entry. Then again we mask it for the next network, and this address is now matching. So it will forward it to the interface M0 to ARP for further processing. ARP means address resolution protocol. So this protocol is responsible for mapping the IP address with MAC address and MAC address with IP address, ARP and RARP. So similarly, the next example is given 201.4.22.35. So you have to solve this in the similar fashion. I hope this is now clear to you that how the data is passed over the network if routing table is given. So if routing table is given, then you have to calculate the network address by masking the IP address with a subnet mask, by masking the IP address with a subnet mask. That's why the subnet mask is very important. This mask is very important in networking in order to correctly deliver the data. Is it clear to you? Let me know in the chat box how data travels over the network, how the packet